Hi, my name is Caitlin Rasler, and I am a student in Cabrini University's Intro to Mass Communications course. In class, we're learning about how to be a critical consumer of news and information, as well as a responsible producer of media. So for this website project, I'm stepping into the role as a responsible producer and working to educate audiences about social identities and the media's role in shaping the perceptions of these identities. So, if I'm being completely honest, before I started this project, I never really heard of a social identity, so I didn't really know what it was. But during the process of making this project, I've learned what a social identity is, how social identities are portrayed in the media, and how much the media actually affects our perspectives of our own opinions. So, social identity is a person's sense of belonging to a group. So this group membership could be based on someone's race, gender, age, social class, personality, or if they're on a sports team. So someone's social identity is answering the question of who are you? So these groups give everyone a sense of belonging in society and the social statuses. And within these groups, there are the in-groups and the out-groups. So often in society, the in-group stereotypes or others, the out-group. The in-group may do this because of their beliefs, or they might do so because of their opinions, that thoughts maybe they didn't even know that they have. So if a particular group is being portrayed a certain way in the media, then the audience is more likely to believe that stereotype that's being depicted, because the more society sees that particular stereotype, the more likely they are to believe it, even if it's not true. So I never really watch the news unless I'm at home and my parents have it on the TV in the kitchen while we're eating dinner. So even then, I don't really pay attention because it doesn't really interest me, and I thought it was boring. And I still kind of had some of those opinions, but now after taking this class and doing this project, I realized the importance of the news and the media. So it's important to know and understand what's going on in the world that we live in. However, now that I pay more attention to the news, I realize how much the news really affects our opinions. So growing up, I thought that the news was just to tell people what was happening in the world and not really give any personal opinions or stories. But now that I'm older, I can tell that certain news stations are lenient towards certain sides of a certain topic. So whether we realize it or not, the media we consume helps forms our opinions on those topics. So it's all about how the news is produced and if the news takes a certain side. If we hear the news take one side of a topic, then we should also look for a different news station that takes the other side, so we can form our own thoughts and opinions based on what we hear from both sides. So before this project or this class, really, I never really thought about the media that I was consuming or how it really affected all of our daily thoughts and opinions. So we're so tempted just to believe the first thing that we see when it pops up on our phone. So many times we don't really do the research to find out more about the truth. So not everything we hear is true, but if we see it enough times, the more times we see it, the more likely we are to believe it, even if it's not completely true. So we need to make sure that we're focusing on finding to make sure that it's true. Learning all that I have, I will definitely be more aware about the media I consume and produce. Everything we say or do or post could affect someone, even if we don't realize it. So we need to be mindful of our choice of words and how we communicate with others, because the media is everywhere in our daily lives. We have our phones, newspapers, magazine, news stations, TV, podcast, radio. Media is everywhere, and they play a huge role in portraying stereotypes, even if we don't even know it. And they may not realize that they're stereotyping people or the impact that they have on society. So when I was interviewing my grandma for the audio story portion of this project, she mentioned the icon of Rosie the Riveter. So my grandma saw her in ads and commercials, positively influencing women to join the workforce while the men were at war during World War II. So this made me realize that social identities and stereotypes are portrayed in all types of media, even if we don't know it. And something I see in the news can shape my opinion without me even realizing it. And I'm sure back then, my grandma did not realize the impact that Rosie the Riveter would have on women in this country today. So I hope that the media changes in some way. It's important for others to speak their minds and give their opinions, but stereotyping other people in mainstream media is not the way to do that. I mean, media affects everything and everyone. So even though the media, especially the news, is important in our society, it's also contributing to the fragmentation of society as well.